Oh my god, I've done it! I've finally won a game! Oh man, I wonder how much LP I'm gonna get. What? This game is trash! I'm done with this shit. I'm never playing it again. LP gains, placements, and the elusive MMR system. There's nothing that brings me greater joy than getting asked about it on 3 separate occasions each week for an entire year. I would say that it makes me want to gouge my eyes out, but to be honest, I don't blame you at all for having questions about the MMR system. I mean, in the only competitive mode within a competitively driven game, the amount of progress you make or lose with each win or loss, or in other words your LP changes, are determined by a weird mystery number with a confusing system behind it that Riot refuses to tell us anything about. How fucking dumb does that sound, by the way, when I put it like that? Actually, like, it's one of the few entries on my list of things that Riot has done that make no sense to me at all. That's how dumb it is. Oh, and if you were curious for what the rest of the list looks like, here it is. Anyway, as I was saying, the only way you actually can come to understand MMR is by both playing a lot of ranked games and observing all the slight changes in your LP gains over the course of those games and using them as clues to piece together how the MMR system works. And yeah, I did that. Why did I do that? Probably because I'm overly obsessed with anything involving numbers, to the point where the only thing I'm more obsessed with than that is tentacle porn. So I'm gonna do my best to explain everything, what MMR is, how LP gains are determined, how dodging, promoting, demoting, and win streaks affect your gains, and how placements work. Although, to be honest, once you understand what MMR is, the rest kind of just follows, and the system surprisingly makes a lot of logical sense, so don't expect anything too crazy. So to start with, how does MMR work? So basically, there's this line. And this line is an infinite number line, and the numbers on this line represent MMR. Somewhere around here on this number line, there's some arbitrary number that represents Iron 4, and somewhere up here, there's an arbitrary number that represents Challenger. I call this the MMR line, and it represents the system that's hidden from you. Then there's another line, the rank line, and this is the line that you can see. The values on this line represent your LP, at the bottom of this line is Iron 4 0 LP, and at the top is Challenger X LP, X being the LP of the highest ranked player at the time. Now imagine that each line has a pointer that points to exactly where you're positioned on that line, and obviously that pointer either moves up or down after every game you play depending on the result. This pointer on the ranked line is seemingly very random to us, because one game you might win and move up 18 points on the line, and the next game you might lose and drop back by 22 points, then you might win and go up by 17, etc, etc. It's the line that you pay attention to every day, and the line we're trying to make sense of despite how confusing it is. On the contrary, the pointer on the MMR line is actually extremely simple to understand, and yet no one knows how it works because of how the game hides it from us. But if we want to understand how LP gains are determined, it's really important to know how it works. Let's just say this is your pointer and it's pointing at the number 1000. This number, 1000, represents your position on the ladder. So for example, maybe having an MMR of 1000 could mean you're in the top 30% of players or something like that. If you win a game, your MMR will take one step forward. That is, it will go up by a certain number. For the sake of this example, let's just say that number is 20. If you then lose a game because the enemy locked in Galio, like seriously, fuck Galio. If I have to play against this champ one more time, I swear I'm gonna, then your MMR will take one step back, which in this example means going down by 20. That number, for you and everyone else, is the exact same and will never change. It is completely consistent. If you win 100 games and lose 98, your pointer will go up by 40. If you lose 4 and win 6, it will go down by 40. It's that simple. A win is a step forward and a loss is a step back. And that step is always the same size. That's all there is to it. In fact, if you rotate this line so it's vertical, and imagine each game as a step up or a step down, it kind of resembles a ladder, which is probably why people call it the rank ladder. Or maybe not, I don't know. I just thought it was cool, so I just thought I'd share. So how come the hidden MMR pointer always progresses in consistently sized steps, but the visible rank pointer progresses kind of randomly? It's because the goal of the rank pointer is to get as lined up as closely as possible to your MMR pointer, and it does that by adjusting your LP gains. Now, if only it could make some adjustments to the people playing League so they could start gaining some bitches, am I right? So say for example your MMR pointer is here and your rank pointer is here. You'll be given high LP gains so the rank pointer can make bigger jumps after each each win and close the gap with the MMR pointer until they're lined up. And conversely, if your rank pointer was here, you would be given low LP gains, so over time your MMR pointer would make bigger jumps than your rank pointer, and eventually it would catch up. So essentially, the best way to fix bad LP gains is by playing a lot, because eventually your MMR pointer will catch up to your rank pointer, which is further ahead than it should be, and your gains will stabilize. You can speed this process up by dodging as well, because when you dodge, you lose LP, meaning your rank pointer goes back a bit, but your MMR pointer doesn't move at all. So your rank pointer is able to close the distance with your MMR pointer a little, and subsequently, your gains improve. You can also cover distance by acing your promos. Say for example, you're in your plat promos and you win 3 games and lose none. Then your MMR jumps forward by 3 steps, but your LP jumps forward by less than 3 steps, meaning your gains improve a little bit. Yeah, no, we both know you're getting disco nunu'd the instant your promos start. Ain't no way you're acing them, let's be real here. But essentially, the idea is, over the course of a large number of games, your MMR will eventually line up with your rank, and your LP gains will become stable. So basically, since your rank will eventually line up with your MMR, the only thing that actually matters is your MMR. And since your MMR always goes up and down by the same amount, your LP gains are completely irrelevant to your climb, and you should ignore them completely. All that matters is that your MMR takes more steps forward than back over a long period of time. Or in short, just win, bro. To give what I'm saying more concreteness, imagine your LP gains are plus 14 and minus 22, and you win 3 games and lose 2. You get plus 42 LP for the wins and minus 44 LP for the losses. Even though you won more than you lost, you went backwards, which feels fucking terrible, right? But in reality, you should be celebrating, because your MMR pointer made 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, meaning in total it went forward by 1 step. Since your rank is eventually going to line up with your MMR pointer anyway, no matter what you do, your future rank basically just took a step forward, which is why even though you lost 2 LP, you did actually make 1 win's worth of progress. You just can't see it yet. So what this means is, the best way for you to measure your progress in League is by looking at your net wins. If so far this season you've won 16 games and lost 12, you've gained 4 net wins and moved your MMR up by 4 steps. Apply that logic to any time frame and you can work out accurately how much you've progressed. So in summary, rank progress over a large sum of games is equal to MMR progress, and MMR progress is directly proportional to your gained net wins. And how do you get more net wins? By being good. And how do you become more good? You improve. So basically, it all ties back to that one absolute fact. If you improve, your elo improves. When you think about it that way, all this MMR and LP bullshit isn't even worth thinking about. Oh, and when it comes to placements, which I said I'd explain in the title, to tell you the truth, I have no fucking idea how they work. But as you may have guessed by now, it doesn't really matter. Your MMR at the end of pre-season was the same as when you started playing this season. If your MMR put you in the top 10% of players, then after going 5 wins, 5 losses in your placements, you will still be in the top 10% of players. And in a couple of months, the top 10% will end up being represented by probably the same rank that it was represented by last season. So basically, your rank will go back to being exactly where it was. Well, unless you lose a bunch, of course. But since League players are known for being so mentally stable and tilt-proof, I doubt anyone watching this will succumb to the tilt and go on a loss streak, thus dealing irreversible damage to their MMR. Right? Honestly, there's not really much more for me to say on the topic of MMR outside of explaining how it all works. In fact, the main motivation behind me making this video was so I could link it when little Timmy comes and asks me why he's only getting 12 LP per win. So if you're a little Timmy that's been sent this video and it answered your question, then go and say thanks to the person that linked it or something, I don't know. But yeah, I got nothing else. Oh yeah, next video is going to be about improving your CS. So do yourself a favor and put on notifications for my channel, yeah? But until then, cheers for watching the video, lads. In a bit.